So one day of fall camp left. What's you feel like you've kind of gotten to a point where you're pleased with where things are, or how much more is there still that you feel like maybe you want to get wrapped up before the season starts?
Well, we got one more day before school starts. It's not really the end of fall camp. We'll stay on a similar routine, just school's now a part of it. Yeah, we're getting closer to the overall competition level. The communication has improved. The knowledge of what we're doing has improved. I think we're kind of getting sick of hitting each other, as you can see today. There's a lot of chippiness out there. And that's kind of the spirit. When you play with the right intensity, those things happen. We just got to make sure that we're, playing with emotion but not being emotional about how we respond from a play that's in my favor or the other way.
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, obviously, so you saw the fire, we saw the chippiness, obviously saw, some strong words on kind of how to find that balance. Just how are you kind of trying to preach that balance of, again, you're hitting your teammates, you want to play with intensity, but also, there's a line where it goes too far.
Yeah, I think constant review of it. We talk about it at about every team meeting about whether it's effort or blocking or just how you finish play or, I let the quarterbacks go a little live, right? We got to work pulling ourselves off quarterbacks with penalties, and I think it's just constant review. But when they're out here dying for a spot and you make it extremely competitive, the emotions get the best of us at times. And more than anything, it's a teachable moment to reflect on how you are in that moment and learn from that just as much as you learn from the scheme, right? So I think there's ability to grow in all of these things. We do it a lot with Chris Crock, our mental strength coach, as far as finding that right balance. And they have to learn that just as much as anything else because they got to come out fast, play with the right intensity, but not be overwhelmed emotionally that they make stupid mistakes.
About 2 weeks and a couple of days out from the season opener. How close do you feel like you are to determining the starting quarterback?
It's getting closer and closer. You guys won't know, so I'll never tell you. You're going to see it on game day. But yeah, there's a battle continuing to happen, and proud of the guys as far as their maturity and how they handled it, and we'll see how it shakes.
So just to be clear, you're not going to make an announcement on the starter like in a situation like a setting like this?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I was going to ask about Kenny Worthy. I don't know if I've asked about him so far in fall camp. Him and Gage Jones blew up like a bubble screen type situation earlier. What do you made of Kenny's fall camp, and where is he at right now?
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job as far as grasping the scheme. He was one of the guys that I felt like mentally was really sharp, kind of leaving spring ball and then going into summer. It was just, for him, it's been more about how we play and the intensity of how we play, and he's grown so much, and he's a guy that's very vocal and takes coaching really well, and I think when you can take coaching and want to grow, there's a chance for success there, and he's going to be a pivotal part of what we do in packages. And for him right now, he's continuing to battle up for a corner position, and he's done a really good job at his time.
Another thing I'd ask you about Milwaukee. We talked to Coach Bibbs the other day, and I think the phrase he used for Milwaukee was like he has the potential to be one of the best players we've had here. What's your read on kind of where he's at right now?
Yeah, he's a more mature young guy, right? So like he's older for his age because of the mission trip that he went on. He takes his work extremely serious, and he takes coaching. And so if you take coaching and you want to grow, you don't let it just go in one ear and out the other. He's intentional about his work, and he has an edge to him. And if he keeps growing at the rate in which we've been able to work with him consistently and doesn't plateau or get complacent, he'll be really special.
I got to ask about Kale. He was looking like he needs some help getting around.
Yeah.
What's his status right now?
Yeah, he'll be back in the next 2 weeks. He was a slight issue with his knee, and we just kind of been monitoring him and trying to make it, take care of his body more than anything else. But we expect him to be ready to go here in the next 2 weeks.
I've seen Devin Ellison showing up a lot more, making a lot of plays. What have you seen from him and his progress over these last several weeks?
He's dealt with the heel pain, and I know that's been frustrating to him, and I feel like we've kind of taken a step and overcome those things. And I think because of that, it's just if he can play full speed and he knows what he's doing, he's hard to stop, and he's a kid that cares a lot, but he's also emotional. He's a human being. So to get him out here and get him in sequence with the offense and get them moving and have some success, his confidence will grow.
And then I spoke to some of the coaches in the past few days. They've talked a lot about the family atmosphere that you've created and the kind of the work-life balance and, kids and families showing up to practice. How important is that to you, that this remains kind of an open, family-friendly work environment, that families are able to be at practice and see their husbands and fathers?
Yeah, I think in order to do this job the right way, as a coach, I know it's our profession, but this isn't any 9-to-5 type of job. You give up your life for this, and so for a lot of the time, your kids suffer with being able to see their own father. So for me to be able to show my own 2 kids who I spend my time with and my effort in trying to impact their life, I think my kids get something out of the spirit of the team. They grow up around the sport. But I also think that our team gets something from watching us be a certain way in how we coach them and the demand on an everyday basis. They get to see us, take the hat off and be a great father and husband to our wives. And so that's just as important as anything else that we're trying to accomplish out here. We get them for 4 to 5 years, and then they got to enter the world and do it on their own. And so we got to be a living example of what that looks like on a day-to-day, and I think we do that.
And it's not uncommon in the coaching profession to have folks who you're close with working with you. But how unique is it that you kind of have a whole neighborhood of folks that you brought from Brookings, and kind of what edge does that give you guys as a team, the connection and the familiarity you have with each other?
Yeah, I think when you're close in general, coaching staff is it's an extension of the entire program, right? So the closer the players are in those relationships, it makes an impact. It's no different with the staff. The closer we are together, offense coaches hanging out with defensive coaches, the less it's us versus you or you versus me. It's just together, and I think that's what it's got to be. We've been together now, and we kind of know the process of how we run practice and the expectations that I have to them, but they have on themselves too, to improve their position group on a day-to-day basis. And it makes it easier that we're on the same page. And I didn't have a recruiting department where I just last came from. We're used to doing everything, including making the breakfasts. So to have this type of resource and just put our focus on football and the players, and then being a light in their life outside of this, I think it makes it a little easier to have an impact when you don't have so many other duties that you're responsible for as well.